another edition of the Headline. I am your host, Larry H. Gardner, and the H stands for Hurricane. Category 5, you're on WNRV 108.1.com. Nerve DJs gonna get nerves. If you are in music, we break your tracks, not your stats. But we have a situation in Jamaica where there was a Category 5 hurricane. Whoever is in Jamaica said Jamaica's never going to be the same again. Back on the coast. Prayers for everybody. Hopefully everybody is safe. That's what we hope for. Miss Lexes, how are you feeling today?
Hello everybody, it's your girl Lexes Bogan. I'm feeling wonderful today. Thank you for asking.
And today is Tuesday, October 28th, 2025. That means that next week is November 4th, 2025. That means that everybody should be voting or voting early. The last day to turn in your ballots, mail-in ballots, is Monday, November 3rd, 2025. It doesn't matter what candidate you vote for, whether you're writing a candidate, whether you're voting for a new candidate, or whether you're voting for an incumbent, period, point blank. And the thing about it is like, elections have consequences. Because right now, the government shutdown is still going on. So there are bad news that November 1st, which is after Halloween, which is going to be a real fright night for everybody, that the government EBT and SNAP benefits will not be loaded on anybody's card on Saturday, November 1st. You being a mom, Lexes, how do you feel about those that won't get their benefits because of the shutdown?
Well, I actually don't get food stamps, so it wouldn't affect me as much, but there are other mothers who do get them at abundance, and they have children they have to feed. They don't have a whole lot of help, and it will, be detrimental to them, definitely, to get that cut.
So DoorDash is offering some free services. Bank of America is offering services for furloughed workers from the United States government. There are some food banks that are on the rise pretty much, and those services have been listed. So if you are running without food, I understand that also. We don't know how long this shutdown is going to be, and considering that one of the main holidays is coming up in November, which is Thanksgiving, hopefully we'll give thanks that this country is still together under this stinking administration. By the way, I'm going to say this as a man, and I got women in the room. Anybody that I see on my Facebook, or I see on this live that I'm doing, or I see on YouTube, disrespecting anybody that gets EBT and SNAP benefits, I'm calling your behinds out. Now the thing about it is, usually I go so hard, but I got company in here. But the thing about it is like, I will not take any disrespect of any African-American, single African-American woman. I don't care how many kids that she has, or a single African-American man who needs these benefits to feed their families. And by the way, 59% of people who get SNAP EBT are poor Caucasians, period. 59%. I know some of them, if not most of them, voted for that orange idiot in office. I know they did. So the FAFO is real. Pardon me for saying that, but the thing about it is like Councilman Richard Starr brought up at Cleveland City Council last night, elections have consequences. So let's get right to it, because we got not only one, but two people running for office. The first one is right here. He is a write-in candidate for the mayor. Well, you know what? T-Rex, play the entrance music so I can introduce this man the right way. Thank you very much. I almost messed up the church's money. Let me calm down with that. Go ahead. 1 second. I can wait. All right. This is P Rock and CL Smooth. Speaking of Smooth, he is the write-in candidate for the mayor of the city of Cleveland, and he is hoping to be your 59th mayor in the city of Cleveland and another African-American mayor in the city of Cleveland. He is running for mayor as a write-in candidate. Please welcome my guest tonight, Mr. Ricky Pittman in the building.
Well, thank you.
How you doing?
I'm doing just great. Thank you for having me on Headline Eye.
Okay, no
I
problem.
appreciate it.
No problem. So, I'm going to ask you the question. Why you want to run for mayor of the city of Cleveland, sir?
I've always wanted to be a leader ever since I moved to Cleveland with my mom, 1973 from Mississippi. And we grew up, I grew kids off in the inner city, struggling like a lot of people did.
Right.
So I watched them struggle. And a lot of people catching the bus, riding the bus, walking, carrying their groceries, trying to make ends meet, put food on the table, educate their kids, so you have an opportunity. So I watched all of this coming from Mississippi. It was an eye-opener coming from a little small town in Charleston, Mississippi. So my first time going to school, had a country accent, stuttering problem. And Cleveland Public Schools were very good to me. They worked with me and helped me to overcome a lot of issues. And I appreciated that, and had a lot of friends growing up. And I figured one day I'd like to make it better. Right. I told them one day that, you know how kids are. They said, so what do you want to do when you grow up? I said, I want to be president of the United States. They said, you can't be president of the United States. I said, why not? They said, because you're black. I said, oh, I've never thought about that. And I said, well, maybe you think of doing something else. So I said, well, they say education is the best way to go, lift yourself up out of poverty. So I was behind in school, just learning my ABCs and how to count. So I started doing sports. So I figured if I can get a scholarship, I'd go to college.
What sport did you do?
Track and field.
Oh.
I went track and field at East Tech, got a full scholarship.
You were scared.
Yep, and I went to the University of Tennessee, Knoxville. Okay. Same school with Jimmy Haslam.
Okay.
So
you might want to talk to Jimmy about his coaching style, because I'm sick of the Browns getting beat down every single Sunday.
Well, he's not the coach, he's the owner.
I know he's the owner. He can get rid of it. Never mind. Hashtag Foster Fancy. But I'm gonna leave that alone. Go ahead.
So, anyways, I figured I'd get away to go to get a scholarship and maybe go to college. And figured I wasn't gonna go there on an academic scholarship because I was far behind in school. But anyways, I managed to graduate East Tech and get a scholarship and went down to University of Tennessee and I managed to graduate there with an education degree in education. And became a world-class track athlete, traveled overseas with Carl Lewis and Florence Griffith Joyner. A lot of people, 1983 World Championship team in Helsinki, Finland. Got to travel the world a little bit and see how the world was. And what I found out is that a lot of the world is a lot like America. We got rich areas, we got poverty, we got middle class, and you got your tourist area. So I realized that even around the world, it's all set up the same. Right. So I said, I still would like to make a difference. So I came back home. I worked in Cleveland Public Schools as a teacher, track coach. I was assistant track coach at Cleveland State for a while, under Coach Berger. Working with kids and working with the youth. I worked with the scholarship and escrow program, Upward Bound, helping our youth. The SNIPE, it was a SNIPE program where they employed people in the summer. I worked on that program. I worked for the program, and then I worked with the program. Okay. Helping kids get jobs. And eventually I wanted to run for office. So in 2001, I ran for mayor of Cleveland for the first time. Me and my wife, we got over 6,000 signatures by ourselves, and one lady helped. But that was a big undertaking. And we made the ballot, but I only knew two people in politics, Reverend Gardner and Councilman Mary Jackson at the time. He was Ward 5, he was my councilman. Okay. So I knew two people, so my pastor said, you need to know more people than that. I said, that's all I know. So, but I had great ideas and solutions and plans for Cleveland, and some of those were borrowed and used by other candidates, which I didn't mind because I was trying to make a name for myself and show that I had talents and gifts to be a leader.
Right. So let's fast forward to now. What skills, you ran for mayor once or a couple of times?
The plain dealer said 3 times, but really I ran 2001 and 2005. I put out an exploratory type field to see if I was going to get any support from the business community. Okay. And I didn't get any support from the business community. I talked to Reverend Cadmus again, and he said, well, the fix is in, they won't claim. I said, okay.
Okay.
So that's who they went with, and that's who they got for 16 years. So I sat back and waited. They said, well, wait your turn. So I sat and waited for 16 years, and after that, Mayor Jackson was leaving, and I figured it was a chance. But then all of a sudden, Mayor Bibbs came from nowhere, and never heard of him.
Yeah.
He never had an elected office or anything, and I'm not even sure he's from Cleveland. So,
He is. I did my research. Mayor Bibb is from Cleveland, but
well, I'll tell you what I heard. I heard that he really grew up in Shaker with his dad. Him and his mom divorced or separated when he was 4 years old, and his mom lived in Mount Pleasant, and he visited Mount Pleasant. That's what I heard.
well, listen. Your sources may be different from mine, but you know he lived with his mom in Mount Pleasant, so I'm just gonna walk away from that. But major metropolitan city, what makes you feel? Why should voters vote for you as far as being the write-in candidate for the city of Cleveland? You have the incumbent, which is Mayor Bibb, and also you have with the first opponent, which is Laverne Gore, who's been she was a Republican, now she's an independent.
Nope, she's still Republican. I talked to the Democratic Party. They said it's too late for her to switch parties because you have to be 2 years removed.
Mm-hmm.
And she's not that, so she's trying to skate around it, but really she's a Republican.
Okay, so how can you get voters to vote for you? What would you bring to the city as far as, because there are some things going on as far as this government shutdown, as I've talked about. What would you bring to the city? What would you do for the city of Cleveland?
As far as what the government shut down?
As far as, just getting people, getting money to the city of Cleveland, or what is your plans for the city?
My main goal is to improve our education system, to lower crime, because without those two things, business and companies don't want to move to a city where it's declining. So, and a bad education system and crime will deter any business from locating here. It's just not a good environment right now. So I think we need to work on some things to provide a good environment to bring business to Cleveland, to employ people.
All right. Ms. Lexes, you got a question for this young man in front of you.
Yes, I do, Mr. Pittman. So, it's very interesting, everything you're saying as far as you running for mayor. I think that's very interesting that you kind of had to sit back for 16 years while somebody else was in office, still wanting the position and having all these cool ideas, but just not yet in that seat to possibly make it or make those decisions. So I would like to know something that interests me personally. I would like to kind of get in your head and get in your shoes to figure out your leadership style. And I would like to know, not all, but maybe just a few really good points of ideas that you were thinking about over your 16 years of just kind of studying the city. What you think that we could have implemented a little more detailed than just what's on the surface.
Well, as far as education, I look at education as a twofold. Everyone is not going to go to college. Everyone may not desire to go to college. I think college should be twofold, where there's a career path and an education path, where whatever you want to be from junior high, elementary school, we should start training and gearing that person towards that and including their education around that. I think that would improve attendance, lower teen violence, because you'll be interested in something, giving yourself something to live for, something you want to do with your life.
Okay.
I think that would improve Cleveland right there. I think kids would motivate them to come to school to want to become something. Everyone's just not interested in just a basic education. I think schools should be set up where we are pursuing our life goals and our life dreams. There are people that want to go to college, and that's fine, but everyone's not going to go to college. And I would like to try to save those that are not going to college and get them right into the workforce before the streets get them.
Okay, that's very noble. I see what you're saying. You don't want people who aren't maybe as gifted or as ambitious as other people to fall through the cracks.
Exactly.
No, that's smart though.
Yeah, and
that's smart.
And they may not be interested in going to college, although they may be smart,
Right.
but they just don't want to go to college.
Don't have the tolerance for
Yeah.
it. Okay.
Or they don't want to spend the money to go to college.
Yeah, right.
College is expensive.
Yeah, they may not have the money. They may not even have that type of drive to go.
Right.
And they may be smarter than some of the people that are going.
All right, it just depends.
It's just not getting.
So another question before I pass the candle. Is there any programs, movements, voluntary work that you, your wife, or anybody in your circle do right now that we should know about to kind of highlight what you do and what you stand for?
What I've been doing for many, many years is I noticed that a lot of people cannot afford home repairs. I also do home repairs and remodeling.
Okay.
So I give people breaks and deals and work with them. If they don't have the money, they can pay me later, or I'll make it a real good deal for them so they can get their homes fixed. Because what I noticed is that a lot of people don't have the money to get their home fixed up. And it's expensive, just like the automobile is expensive. And a lot of times, the reason that the houses are dilapidated and falling down because they don't have the means of the money, because a lot of times we don't have the job to, the amount of economic job means to be able to pay a good contractor or serviceman a good living wage. So what I do is I help out as much as I can, and because it's just my skills and my labor.
Okay.
So if I can do a plumbing job for, let's say a contractor is going to charge them $2,000 or $3,000. If I could do it for $1,000, I'm good. So that's how I help them get back. I've been doing that for years.
Okay.
So there was a situation that came up with city council and the mayor and the Cleveland Browns. The Browns gave $100 million to the city of Cleveland, to move 15 minutes up the street to Brook Park for that new thing. If you were mayor, how would you have handled that differently?
First of all, I would have fought harder for the Browns to be here. I heard from reliable sources that the reason the deal fell through at first, Jimmy Haslam was all for staying here. But I heard that the deal broke down over the Muni line. The mayor did do a tizzy over the Muni line, said he couldn't have the Muni line. And at that point, that was the last thing I heard, that he said that I tried to get some other people to work and help the mayor to facilitate that, because I noticed he was not handling the situation very well. But anyways, I would have fought harder to keep the Browns here. And I got Chris Ronay in Gardner County Executive to I encourage them to help out too, because sometimes a situation may be too big for someone to handle and they may need help. So I figured he needed help handling that, and unfortunately, he still dropped the ball over the Muni line. That's what I heard.
Well, I mean, but the Browns are giving up $100 million. But the thing about it is, like, the state gave them $600 million to move to Brook Park.
Well, that's a whole nother thing. That was that unclaimed funds.
Yeah.
And I felt that we should have fought harder to keep that money in Cleveland, because that's unclaimed funds that's basically could have helped us in Cleveland. But they chose to give it to Mr. Jimmy Haslam. And the $100 million that you keep bringing up, that's really no money. That's for a billionaire. That's no money. I think he got $14 billion. That's no money.
So
$100 million.
That's no money at all?
No, well, I didn't say no money at all, but it's not enough. I think we need at least $400 or $500 million, because he's taken away a very important economic engine for downtown and Cleveland. I think $100 million is not enough.
Okay, so as far as the federal, as far as that, the shutdown that's affecting Cuyahoga County, and November 1st, we have residents that depend on SNAP and EBT that will not get those. How would you, as city leader or mayor, would handle this situation, especially dealing with him in office? I'm trying not to. I'm trying to be respectful, but
The king.
Yeah. He ain't no king. King is he a J.A. and I ain't talking about John. He a J.A. I'm trying to be. You're here. Your wife's here. I'm trying not to cuss.
Could we call him a dictator? Oh.
I mean, I can leave the tater off.
Okay.
So, you picked up on that. Thank you very much. He's so but how would you handle this if you were mayor?
What I would do is I would bring together all of the resources that can help Cleveland. For instance, all of the supermarkets and shopping centers in Cleveland. I would try to get them to help out with either donating more money to the food bank or setting up programs where they could come and get some foods for free, and they could write that off as a tax write-off, because a lot of business got they can write stuff off on their taxes as losses.
Okay.
Bring all together all of the resources to help.
So more donations to the food banks.
And then hygiene, so people can donate. We have a lot of stores and things that can donate some stuff and write it off as a loss.
Okay. So what skills would you bring to City Hall that, haven't been there, you think, in your mind?
A better working relationship with the city council, better working relationship with the city of Cleveland, with the residents, being more open, more transparent, being more available, being more concerned about their needs and what they want. Trying to make the city a better place to live. Working together with business leaders, because they also have a stake here in Cleveland, making sure that they are happy with the services they're getting, and find out how we can improve their businesses, and so they can also help us out where we need to be helped out with the city of Cleveland to grow.
Okay. So is there anything that voters should know about you, period, that they don't know?
They don't know that I'm a fair and honest person, as fair as I can be and as honest as I can be. I understand that some things may be a little bit too complicated for people to understand about how politics really work. I understand that I can only go so far into how politics really work. And most people know how it really works, and that's why the voting turnout is very low, because they're turned off by how politics really work. It's not a fair game, it's not fair at all, not even to a candidate, not even to the residents or the citizens. So they're kind of turned off of politics and voting. I would like to bring that back, where people would be happy with and confident that they vote matter and that they got a good candidate that they can trust.
Would you like to shed light on what's not fair? Not everything, but just something you
Right.
wouldn't mind throwing out there.
As far as what, politics?
Yes.
Is how almost it's already picked and chosen who the mayor is going to be before it even starts. And then what I mean by that, the business community pretty much picks who the mayor is going to be. They figure, we're going to back this candidate. They agree to put the money with a certain candidate. That already is an unfair advantage. And I don't think it should be that way. I think it should be left up to the people to vote on who they want as they mayor, that will better serve them.
So how you feel about paying your dues?
Right, exactly.
You gotta pay your dues, you just can't, you gotta work around the city, you gotta grassroots up.
I've been grassrooting all my life. I worked on Mayor Jackson's campaign. I worked on a lot of taxes for the school system. I worked on many of issues for the city of Cleveland. I've been fighting hard for the city of Cleveland since I started running in 2001. Mayor Jackson told me that a lot of things that are done is behind the scenes. So I started doing a lot of things behind the scenes that people don't know about, like ideas and solutions. Whenever there's a problem, I'll make a suggestion or comment, or throw my 2 cents in there, as my grandmother said, always throw your 2 cents in there and see how far you can go with that. So I throw my 2 cents in there, and whether it's ideas, solutions to problem, and to see how far to go. I've been doing that for a long time.
So pretty much the thing about it is you are a writing candidate.
Correct.
And usually writing candidates have an uphill battle to climb. How will you get over this?
Well, I've been out campaigning and talking to people on my website, and I hope everybody can go to my website.
You want to share that?
Yeah, it's www.Pittman Opportunity for Mayor. And my website has a lot of ideas, solutions, and a lot of viewpoints on that I think people should know about me, as far as where I stand on the Middle East, abortion rights. Have a lot of things about where I stand on a lot of important issues.
I wanna highlight you a little better here, if you don't mind,
Yeah.
but this is in favor of you, not to be rude.
Okay.
And you don't have to pinpoint every little thing, but I would like to know, can you bring up anything that may have been implemented in Cleveland, whether it be a program, a system, a law, or anything, that you did help construct behind the scenes that we don't know about, so we can kind of see what you've done? You see what I'm saying?
And that's a fair question. The Fannie Lewis law was my law.
Fannie
The
Lewis.
15% set aside for jobs in Cleveland for contractors that were working in Cleveland. I remember.
Really?
Yes, yes. I can't sit here and just make this up.
No, I
If
don't
I was
think
you, I would start with that. I would start with
The
that.
Fannie Lewis law. No, but I didn't want to get into that. I said there's a lot.
No, that's why you're here.
Oh,
We need to-
Right.
Okay. There was a lot of things that, I did behind the scenes, like I said, but that's good that you're getting me to bring it out and explain it. The abortion, the gay right law, I helped get that passed. President Obama was in position to get it passed, but he didn't know how to get it done.
Okay.
So I used our Constitution.
So was that was that
That's
federal,
national.
national, federal?
National for gay marriage,
Okay, so
to
you
get that
said,
legalized.
So let me, you cool for that, so what about if a man wanna have two wives, you down for that?
no,
No,
Well,
that's a serious question,
It's happening
man.
here.
Well-
Chill out. That's a serious question.
I'm cool with it,
Yes.
but our country is not, and our law.
Thank
yes,
you.
Yes, no, you said personally, me, you can do what you wanna do, that's your life, but that's what.
Yeah, the people, a lot of people.
his wife's sitting right here, that's why I stopped you.
No,
No,
but everybody,
That had nothing to do with it.
look,
Oh, speak freely.
no, but everyone has equal rights to do what they wanna do within the privacy of their home. We can't govern that. Although we have a law against bigamy, but we can't enforce that. Matter of fact, there's an artist, I think, that had 2 or 3 wives, isn't it? That I heard.
Neo.
I'm ain't gotta go to green. It's already better. We got a cash and money, no limit mess up. But it's always good to have somebody. Speaking of wives, your wife is sitting right next to you, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So that's wonderful. So, so with all the stuff that, like, running a campaign is hard, especially in your writing, how has she supported you throughout this process?
Oh, she's always supportive of my dreams and what I wanted to do and my ambition. Although it's tougher on her than me because I got tough skin and I've been through a lot from Mississippi to running track at the University of Tennessee, being black. So I'm a little bit more tougher than most. She gets emotional.
Mm-hmm.
She gets sad and down sometimes because of the way the treatment that I get. I tell her, hon, this is a part of the process.
Right.
I'm willing to go through the process to get there. And you have to be willing to go through the process to be successful. Everybody that makes it has to go through a process. Some of us will carry this, some of us will get a ride on somebody's back, but I didn't get that, so I'm willing to go through hell to get to heaven.
How long you been married?
25 years, 25.
25? That's what's up. Well, that's what's up. Just highlight that. So, with that, so what have you been doing now? Well, I know you've been running, but what have you been doing now? Have you been still doing the home repair? Have you been still doing one since?
I do some of as much as I can, and I've scaled back. And I work for the city of Cleveland in the streets department. I've been there for 6 years. Mayor Jackson got me in with the city after I helped him on his last campaign.
Mm-hmm.
I asked him, so why did you help me get a job? He said, because you helped me, Rick. He came short of saying how I helped him, but he said, you helped me.
So, how do you think this is? So the thing about it is like you are determined to be the right hand, and I know that.
I don't have a choice but to be the right end after I didn't make the ballot.
Okay.
I didn't have a choice.
So what happened with you not making the ballot? What happened with that?
Couldn't get enough people to help get the signatures, and my wife couldn't get it all by herself with working and trying to get signatures, so we managed to get 2,827 signatures, which was a little short, but I needed help from family, friends, people in Cleveland to help. I figured if they really wanted to change and they really wanted a mayor that's going to be for them, I expected more help, but since I didn't get it, I figured I'd still carry on and try to do the best that I could, and since I didn't, I figured, well, how could I still run? Although I didn't make the ballot, and it came to me, I could be a write-in candidate.
Okay, so, all right, now here's a question. How can people support your candidacy? How, like, you got the website, correct?
Got my website.
All right, and how can other people support your candidacy?
They can help by contacting me and.
Yeah, the contact information,
Yep,
I'm sorry.
they can call me at area code 216-413-7995. Help me pass out literature, because I got a lot of literature I gotta get out. I need people to work at the polls, because you need poll workers.
Okay.
That's about how they can help me at this point. Donating money is not gonna help at this point, but I need bodies and people to help distribute literature.
You need bodies, and there's no bodies.
Exactly.
All right, so anything else you have to say, because right now we got the second guest, she's been waiting over there, it looks like she's about to box somebody. So I'm just gonna listen. Listen, I pick with her when I see her because we run into the same circles, but how can we, the thing about it is, what is your, before you leave here, what is the one thing you gotta say? And shout out your wife.
I'd like to shout out my wife, and she also wrote a slogan for my campaign. I'd like you to hear.
All right, go ahead, ma'am. What's your name?
Benita Holland Pittman.
Okay. Benita Applebaum, you gotta put me on.
If you're tired of the same, write Rick's name, Rick Pittman for mayor of Cleveland, November 4th, on election day. Thank you, the Headline Eye Radio Show.
NRV
108.1 Nerve.
All right.
Thank y'all.
All right, thank you very much. That's lovely. You got a lovely voice.
Thank you.
You got a lovely voice. So, yeah, drink some water because you earned that. You earned that. So, you want to shout out? You got children? You want to shout out your kids?
Yes, we got 4 kids.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Busy.
We got 2 together, and I got 1, and she got 1. We keep on. We got 4 all together, but we got 2 biological kids together, and they're in college. One is at Cleveland State, about to graduate, and one is at Tri-C, about to graduate and go to Case.
Okay. All right. So, shout out to the Pittman family. Thank you very much for rolling up in here. I gotta move you guys out the way so we can get the next guest, but first we gotta take a small break. I understand the Cash Money and No Limit had a little bit of verses, so we gonna play some. First, I'm gonna play Cash Money. Juvenile. I love you guys. I'll see you soon on the campaign trail. God bless and much luck to you.
Thank you. Thanks.
You bet. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks. No problem.
Yeah, let me go to tour real quick. Let me go to tour. Have a seat. And the bathroom is straight down the hall. Everybody use the bathroom. Good. Because they kept hyping up on the internet like it was.
Justice doesn't start in the courtroom. It starts in our community. That's why Brett Horton is running for Cleveland Municipal Court Judge. A lifelong Clevelander with 30 years of legal experience in local courts, Brett understands the challenges our community faces. He has dedicated his life to service and to mentoring Cleveland's youth. Brett Horton will deliver justice with integrity and lead with vision. On November 4th,
Make sure your phone on silent. Somebody's phone. Please make sure your phone's on silent. Somebody's phone's going on.
This is WNRP 108.1.
These are some of the commercials that we've done.
Your council person. I've lived in Ward 8 for over 25 years. I also own a small business located in our ward. I'm running for city council because I believe Ward 8 should be safe, vibrant, and afford brutality back in the ward. As a former police officer, I believe that we should have a safe place for our seniors and our children. Brighter street lights and affordable housing. Together, we can make this happen. And with your help, we can make Ward 8 a thriving, better place for all of us. On Tuesday, November 4th, vote for me, Charlotte Perkins, to be your next council.
This is WNRP 108.1.
when Mayor Bibb said Cleveland can't wait, he meant it. And today, Cleveland is on the rise. Violent crime is down, we're recruiting more police, and resources are going directly into our neighborhoods. We're creating good jobs and investing in programs that keep families safe.
I'm Mayor Justin Bibb. Together, we're taking real steps to make our city safer and stronger. Now it's time to finish the job, because in Cleveland, we rise together.
Paid for by neighbors for Justin Bibb. Right leader, real results.
This is WNRP 108.1.
Holla if you hear me. I got the hook up. Holla if you hear me. Got the hook up. hookup. Holla if you hear me. I got the hookup. Holla if you hear me. I got the hookup. Holla if you hear me. Ah! I'm sorry. We're back on the headline eye on Nerve DJs, WNRV 108.1.com. So who won? Lexes, did you get a chance to watch the versus No Limit versus Cash Money?
No, I didn't, but I'm going with Cash Money regardless.
Man, you crazy. I'm sorry. Thank you, T-Rex. I grew up with No Limit, and I got the hookup.
It would have been a good battle if Lil Wayne and Turk was there. It would have been a good battle, Lexus. It would have been a real good battle.
Yeah, you're right.
It was fun. I should have. We had a party here on Saturday, so I wanted to have like a big party here on Saturday night. I thought it was going to come on Lexus. They was in Vegas. I was told we only came on 8 o'clock on the dot.
Right.
I was tight. I was really tight.
It was, the thing about it is like, I grew up before Cash Money. I know Cash Money for the 99 and 2000. But I grew up with No Limit. I got the hookup. The thing about it
Did
is,
you have Body on VHS?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Gotta check your
Yes, I did. And every wedding reception that year, especially my cousin Virgin when he first married his wife Kenyatta, at the end, she wanted Body at her reception. So I couldn't.
I think Body was the first good fit.
Right.
That took over the world.
Man, I watched Body, but you know how many times I watched Body? Man, 15, 16 times. Then and then, I watched I Got the Hookup like 5 to 6, 7 times. But yeah, so speaking of Body, somebody want to be Body in Ward 9 at this particular point in time. She wants to run, she's running for the seat in Ward 9, and this is our second guest in the building. So
I'm pretty famous today.
Fame has its price. But play the music, please, Human T-Rex. Not that one. The other one. That's different.
This is her intro music. Angie Stone, I wish.
Oh yeah. Go ahead. I'm messing up.
Okay, there's gonna be some of this.
Alright. So that is Angie Stone. I wish at this particular point in time. Old school music. I just want to make sure you was paying attention. Please welcome. She is the candidate for Ward 9. She's made it to the final 2. She's going to go up against somebody else who's the incumbent. Please welcome my good friend. I'm glad she's here though. Alana Belle in the building.
Hey.
How you doing?
I am tired, but I am good, and I'm excited to be here.
I see you got your hoodie on.
Out here.
All right, you out. All right. Yeah, like the thing about it is you ready.
Big ready.
Okay, so I know you've been around for women's rights and things of that nature. Shout out to New Voice of Reproductive Justice. I was working with them earlier today. And why do you want to run for Ward 9?
Yeah, no, Bloomville is my home. It's where I was born and raised. My parents still live in the house that my sisters grew up in.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the thing that finally pushed me to run was honestly like living in Atlanta and coming back.
Mm-hmm.
I lived in Georgia for about 2-ish years, doing some electoral work down there for domestic workers. And in my time there, it was during COVID, but I got a chance to see what communal support looked like in real time with mutual aid and resource distribution, and got a chance to see how communities take care of each other. And when I came home and I saw all the gaps in care that existed for the people in my neighborhood, a light bulb just kind of went off. It was very, very clear that a lot of the issues that the folks who live, specifically the folks who live on St. Clair, because that's where I'm from, but a lot of the issues that folks have on St. Clair are easily fixable. And also in my time as an organizer, I definitely have a little bit of understanding of policy and legislation, a little bit of understanding of how, money moves throughout the city, how resources move throughout the city. And I got a chance to really see a pattern of how resources were distributed throughout Ward 9, both the old Ward 9 and the new Ward 9. And it was very clear that, past 24 years, St. Clair has been on the back burner. St. Clair has been neglected, and we don't really have time to wait anymore. There are hungry children, which is why we did food distributions. The streets are dirty, which is why we did community cleanups. Neighbors don't know each other, which is why we did community block parties. And there are folks who are understandably apathetic, which is why we did all the footwork we did over the past 7-8 months to make sure folks know what the campaign is about, what we're about, what the vision for Ward 9 is.
All right, so what is I know your background. What you want to explain what organizations you work for?
Yeah, oh man, my resume is pretty solid. I most recently stepped down from my position as Director of Constituency Organizing for Planned Parenthood Advocates of Ohio. And so I led our Black organizing, Latino organizing, and youth organizing work across the state for almost 3 years. And really, really proud in that role. I was able to lead a lot of the work that led to the successful issue 1, so the reproductive freedom, the abortion ballot initiative in 2023. And that is kind of the tail end of a 10-year-long reproductive justice, reproductive rights, and health work history. So I worked for New Voices, and shout out to the home team, shout out to New Voices. But I worked for New Voices. I've worked for Ohio Women's Alliance. I work for Planned Parenthood, National Domestic Workers Alliance, Cleveland Rape Crisis Center. I've touched a little bit of everything and everybody.
So you pretty much been a community advocate ever since you stepped into the work field.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so Miss Lexes, you got something you got a question to ask her?
Yes, how you feeling, Miss Belle?
I'm good. I'm excited and nervous and anxious and happy and all of the things. I'm really, really proud of the work that my team has done so far. I feel good.
Well, I'm happy that you're feeling good. I'm definitely feeling that energy. I'm loving it. So I had a couple of questions. So I know when I did my homework, you're right. You are big on the food distribution. You are big on that. So I wanted to know, just because it's on topic and everything going on with the food shutdown and everything, as Larry was speaking, from the orange turd orders, what do you think you would implement, or do you think that you and your team would do anything for that if the shutdown continues?
Yeah, so one of the things that I think needs to change across the city in general, but definitely like within Ward 9, is utilizing some of the institutions that exist in our ward as food distribution sites. Whether we are using the rec centers as places where families can go to pick up the fresh produce, pick up things from the food bank or whatever the situation may be, or if we're using churches, y'all love to come together for a potluck and a little Sunday dinner. If all the aunties and the grannies and the grandpas get out there with their cookout 3000s and we make community meals. I think there's a lot of ways to make sure that we're feeding people that already involve the resources that we have access to, and then B, are in line with the culture of how Black people move, how people from the hood move. Like, we feed each other, whether this your first time coming over our house, we're gonna make sure you eat, whether, whatever the situation is, we wanna make sure everybody is well fed, everybody is taken care of. In this time specifically, we cannot trust what's happening in DC to give us what we need. We cannot trust what's happening in Columbus to give us what we need.
Right.
And depending on who your council person is, you can't trust what's happening at City Hall for you to get what you need. But we should be able to trust each other. We should be able to trust our neighbors.
Right.
And we have all the things that we need to take care of each other.
All right, speaking of which, City Council, your opponent is incumbent. Been around, like I said that, you have somebody that's been in the City Council a long time, and Kevin Conwell.
24 years.
How do you overcome, the establishment that he has had? And how do you get voters to vote for you? Now, you made it past the primary, congratulations. But now, next week, is the biggest test.
It's another beast.
Yeah.
I think part of it is understanding that understanding and accepting the celebrity of it all. I think because local elected officials are more accessible to people, but they still hold power. Folks who live in neighborhoods feel like, I can call my council person, and it's like, it's exciting whether or not that council person is actually taking care of the entire neighborhood, or if that council person is just taking care of them and their needs. So it's just like understanding and accepting the celebrity of it for what it is. But when it comes to how I'm combating that, is really just like highlighting the differences between what has been happening and what I would like to see happen. Particularly like some of the issues that have come up for the neighbors have really been safety, housing, and city services. And so when it comes to actually all three of those things, Ward 9 covers Glenville, Collinwood, a little bit of University Circle, and that area encompasses 105, so it's 105th Street. And if you're driving up 105, like once you cross Superior, these are functionally different cities. It looks and functions like two different cities.
One's cool, the other one's not, right?
Yeah, Ashbury Way Park, and everything closer. The closer you get to University Circle, the more well kept it is, the more developed it is, the fewer potholes, fewer broken street lights, fewer safety concerns, fewer issues that folks report in general. And then once you cross over Superior, like you can see the bandos, you can see the trash, you can see, unsupervised children doing unsupervised children things. And you can see the disconnect in community most importantly. And I think for me, the thing we learned during the block parties that we hosted like every other weekend throughout the summer is that because of the safety concerns and because of the lack of resources that exist in that part of the ward, folks don't feel comfortable getting to know each other. And so our block parties for several groups of neighbors were their first time speaking to people who they've lived next door to for, 3, 4, 5 years. And I think that breakdown in community is a big part of why, we're not seeing the functionality, we're not seeing the growth, we're not seeing the resource distribution that we could.
All right, so you pretty much figuring that the person you're running against, the incumbent is out of touch right about now, even though.
Yeah, I would say based on the way he votes, I would say based on the way he campaigns or doesn't campaign, he's very much established and he is confident and comfortable in his position. And a big part of that confidence and a big part of that comfort is name recognition and the celebrity of it all. He's been in for 24 years, so he, has refused to do candidate forums. He has refused to do debates. He has refused to do, anything where he and I could both sit down and talk to the people together. And he said he doesn't have to. And if you are not in tune enough to want to talk to your residents, to want to talk to your constituents, that is like a huge red flag for me.
All right, so it's not just the debate for the mayor's race that should have happened. But it's a debate in all forms of Cleveland City Council that should have happened, considering that not only, and I know the Conwell, I met Kevin, Yvonne, Kevin Jr., and they set up things and things of that nature, all that. But how would you get along with, if you were elected, how would you get along with your colleagues in City Council? Because there's been some shakeups.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Working in reproductive rights and health, not necessarily reproductive justice, but working in reproductive rights and health, I, for years have been surrounded by large groups of white women, and in those spaces, it has not always been the most welcoming. It has not always been the most safe. And even in those environments, I thrive just because, I'm built like that. And I don't see City Council being anything different. For the most part, regardless of the tactics people use, if we're all aligned in wanting a safer, more sustainable Cleveland, we should be able to work together to get that done. But politics is messy, people are messy. And the only thing I can do is continue to be transparent, open, honest about the things that I want and continue to fight the way that I've been fighting for the past 10, 15 years.
Okay. why this realm? Why go into, you said politics is messy. You've been doing a lot, rape crisis center, New Voices, other things, you've been doing a lot working on those. Why go into city politics now? Instead of just keep doing the stuff that you've been doing. What do you want to accomplish?
I'm scared, honestly. I'm scared of the fallout of the federal administration. I'm scared of the fallout of our state legislature. And if I'm being transparent, I don't necessarily know that elected officials who are so tied to the establishment are going to be equipped to meet the needs of the people when stuff goes left.
So you pretty much,
if it goes left.
So you pretty much saying that, you feel like that city officials, particularly the one you're running against, is scared to fight the establishment if it's not benefiting the people, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So.
Why do you think they're afraid to fight?
Right.
So the why could be a lot of different reasons. For my incumbent specifically, I'm not sure. He don't do candidate forums, so you can't really ask him a whole lot of questions. I don't know. But I think there's a lot of reasons why folks don't want to buck the system. I think there's a lot of reasons why folks don't really want to, challenge the status quo or go against what, may bring them consistency, may bring them money, may bring them, recognition. But I do know none of those things are worth, the safety of the people. None of those things are worth the participation of the people in government. And I think for me, there's like none of those things are worth the work that needs to be put in for us to be safe.
Right. Yeah. All right. So the thing about it is, you and I both worked on voter apathy.
Amen.
And the thing about it is like one thing that you and the previous guest that I had on is facing is that there's not a lot of engagement as far as voting. How do you, especially dealing with somebody who's been in the city council person 24 years, how do you get people to come out for you or just come out in general?
Yeah. So I think it's a loaded question because I absolutely understand voter apathy. I absolutely respect folks who choose not to show up to the polls because they feel like nobody's earned their vote. When it comes to how I'm getting folks to show up for me, sometimes it really is just representation. Younger folks seeing somebody young go out for a position like this is like motivating and exciting. So part of it is just like me being who I am as an individual. And then part of it is like having open, honest conversations with people. I remember there was one block party we did outside of Mayor Bogan, which is like a elementary middle school in the ward. And we got a chance to talk to a group of young people. We got a chance to talk to a group of young people, and in that conversation, we got to understand like why it is they don't vote or hadn't voted up until that point. And the only person in that group of about 5 or 6 young men who had voted was somebody whose grandma had worked the polls his entire life, and he was brought up in that. And they never really saw the purpose because they had heard their parents talking about, these people not doing nothing and ain't nobody showing up for me. And they're watching their neighbors, go hungry and the kids skipping school and doing, X, Y, and Z. But I also got a chance to like really reiterate that a lot of the things that you see are because of who we choose or don't choose to be in office. And if you have somebody who actually does care about the community, somebody who is involved and invested not just in the part where they live, but invested in all the people, you're going to see different results.
So would you encourage, people like younger people to go for these positions?
Absolutely.
And what would and since this is your first time going through a campaign, what is the advice that you would give them?
Yeah, I would encourage all young people, if you are remotely interested in being in office, if you are remotely interested in, taking charge of your community, go for it. The information or the advice I would give is like prepare as much ahead of time as you can and talk to as many people as you can. As many people that you trust and respect as you can. because everybody's going to have advice, everybody's going to have opinions, everybody's going to have suggestions. But you need information from different sources. You need information from people who have different tactics or different viewpoints, because you're going to need all of that information to have a really thorough, well-rounded campaign. But also know, like, you got to decide, like, what your goal is. Like, is your goal to win the election, or is your goal to, build community and establish programs throughout the campaign? Because that is going to require different tactics, and those are going to yield different results.
I'm sure everybody's goal is to win, but as far as that, you can also build off of this. So, yeah, the thing about it is, like, if you do win, what is the first 30 days of your administration look like?
The first 30 days is figuring out what is actually happening here. Like, what is going on? Because I think when it comes to city services specifically, there are, like, clear breakdowns of whatever systems exist, where some people have been waiting 8 years to get things done, and some people, like my street, got 2 houses torn down in the span of weeks after a fire that had happened like less than 2 months before. And I've talked to neighbors who have been living next to, crumbling abandoned houses for almost 10 years. And so we need to find a way to develop systems that remove individual input. So I should not have to have a personal relationship with my council person to get something taken care of in my street. The system should be set up based on, when the calls are made, when the work orders are put in, and, urgency based on safety.
Right.
So it really is just going to be about assessing the systems at play, finding where the gaps are, fixing those, and then, testing things out from there.
So pretty much, do you need, say, going back off this, do you need to have relationships with business people to be a part of the system, or do you think it hurts? Because
do you need to?
Yeah.
Do you need to? No. Should you? Yes. Businesses are a part of, like, the fabric of our neighborhoods. Businesses are a part of our communities, whether it is business owners that live in our communities or community members that rely on these different businesses to meet their needs every day. I think it's really, really important to have those relationships. I think the issue comes in is when people abuse those relationships for their own personal gain. And we've seen examples from other city council folks who are no longer on city council, and those lawsuits and whatnot. But what I will say,
I know she's talking about Bashir.
But what I will say is relationships, whatever that cough is crazy. That cough was crazy. But what I will say is relationships with businesses are really, really important, especially for me, because I look at community policing as a really, really necessary part of us building safer communities. And they are going to be a part of that. They're going to be a part of the process of developing what these rules are and these regulations for how we move the community. They're also going to be a part of the accountability processes. And so, we need relationships with businesses. They need to know what's going on. We need to know what's going on in their shops and their stores and all of that. Not the ins and outs. We ain't got to be too much in their business. But, for example, if there's a gas station and y'all selling swishers to 17-year-olds,
right,
we have to have a conversation about that. Just as an example.
Right. All right, so there was a situation where there was a 5-year-old that got attacked by 8, 9, and 10-year-olds. I was wondering whose ward was that? How would you handle the situation?
That was like on the border of Ward 9, and Ward 10.
Okay.
So 148th and St. Clair, I believe, somewhere in that area.
Yeah.
I haven't had a chance to speak to the girl's mom or any of the adults involved. I have reached out, so if they are available, let me know whatever resources you have. But also shout out to Ebony Spano, who is a really, really, really amazing child advocate who's taking care of that family.
Yes,
And
former
everything.
guest Emily Spano.
Yes, Emily is dope. But how I would have handled it is really just like taking the lead from her mom and seeing what she needs. We have amazing resources like the Cleveland Road Crisis Center that has a drop-in center in Ward 9 actually that can offer some mental health resources, that can offer different sort of legal resources depending on what the needs are. When it comes to, the children who did the attack, I don't think jail is the right answer for an 8-year-old. I don't think prison is the right answer for, prepubescent children. I do think they need help. I do think accountability can look a lot of different ways.
I always said it was the parents that need to be prosecuted or the guardians of these children because this is learned behavior.
Yeah, and so for me, I would like to lean more into curiosity than like punishment. Again, going back to that community policing thing, it's not just about like addressing crime and turning people into criminals and all of that. For me, community policing is about addressing whatever the issue is at the root and fixing that. And so I agree, like those kids either saw or experienced something that led them to that behavior, and we need to figure out who and what happened so it doesn't happen again. And whatever adults, facilitated that, they need to be held accountable. Now, adults, if there were adults doing these things to those children before they did that to her,
they slap. We need to knock the hell out, but that's just me.
But as far as the babies, like they're all babies, and they absolutely did something horrible. They absolutely need to be held accountable for it. But accountability for an 8-year-old as opposed to accountability for somebody in their 20s and 30s, that should not look the same because the gravity is not the same, the intentions are not the same, and the understanding of what they were doing is not the same. And so I would like to see some mental health resources. I would like to see a little bit of a longer stay in assessment in a mental health facility. I would like to see, what these relationships with their parents and the adults in their lives look like. But I would definitely lean into investigation first, and then sort out what, accountability looks like after.
So how can people get in contact with you to help you with your literature, passing out stuff in post? Because November 4th is next week.
Next week, we are 7 days away. 7 days away. So I am on social media, almost all platforms at Belle Forward 9. There's an E at the end of my name, so BELLE Forward 9 on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook. I have a website, belleforward9.com. I have a phone number. Well, it's a Google Voice number. Y'all not getting my real phone number.
Go ahead.
216-505-9881.
I mean to cut you up. Like, you for the people, they supposed to be able to call you up. Like,
And that Google Voice number goes directly to my phone.
Shout out your team. You mentioned earlier they supported you. Have you shout them out?
My team is so phenomenal. So shout out to Zombie and Bree and Willow and Ramat and Haja and Erica and C and Mark and Alina and Emily and Lex and everybody. My parents, shout out to my parents and my sisters and my niece and nephews and like my family in general. I would not have gotten to this point in the campaign without everybody who's been hitting doors with me, without everybody who helped fill out postcards and make phone calls and send text messages and donate money and all of the things. It would not have happened without the village that I have. So if you are a part of my village and you've participated in any way, I cannot say thank you enough. I cannot say thank you enough.
Yeah, see, that's what's up. So you had to support a family, and it's very hard, to have that support, especially when you say, I'm running for office. And the first thing that people look at you and say, oh, you out of your damn mind.
Yeah.
But you have to be courageous enough to do this. So I thank you and Mr. Pittman for having the courage to say, you know what? I'm gonna stand up. I'm gonna need a chance. I'm gonna stand up for the principles. I don't care how it look. I'm gonna do it anyway.
Absolutely.
So
We're trying to preserve the culture, improve the conditions, rebuild the community, and it takes a lot of people to make that happen.
all right. So anybody. So you got any advice before we get out of here? You got any advice for anybody that wants to run for office? What is your advice?
Do it scared, do it frustrated, do it alone, do it with community, do it, just do it. Period. Just do it. I definitely think it is a learning process. I will say running for office definitely requires a little bit of privilege. Because you have to have access to either your own money or you have to have access to people who got money. You have to have time to be able to dedicate to it. So as a person who does not have children, I am not married, it's just me and my puppy. Like I have a lot more freedom. I'm not rich, so I don't want nobody to take that away from this conversation.
Right, you can't borrow no money from me.
You cannot.
Be me, right?
But
because she needs to leave something here.
Baby, if y'all trying to host a rent party for me this month, that's hard. But all jokes aside, there's a little bit of privilege that comes with it, that comes with the experience, or that's required in this experience. But if you have access to any of the things that allow you to take the step, take the step. A little bit of paperwork, knocking on some doors, whatever, but the things you learn along the way, both about your community, about your neighbors, about yourself, the things you learn about the people in your circle these are lessons that you're going to take with you forever, and things that you can apply once you get in office. Once you leave office, if you don't get into office, whatever your next venture is, just do it.
So, I found out it took 6,000 signatures to become mayor, to be on the mayoral ballot. How many signatures does it take to be on city council?
So you need 200 ballot signatures.
And that's in your ward, correct?
Yeah, 200 ballot signatures from people who live in your ward. We had a little bit of a snafu with like some address changes and a bunch of shenanigans. So we ended up collecting a little over 650 signatures because we were done, and then like 6 days before signatures were due, they were like, none of your signatures count, so we had to start all over. And again, shout out to my team. Folks rallied around and showed up and sent folks, and it was just amazing. So we turned in, we got the 200 that we needed, we got a little over the 200 that we needed, but we got on the ballot, made it through the primaries, and
Awesome. Well, that's an accomplishment.
I felt good.
That is an accomplishment. When you make it, listen, because you got like 80 people running for one seat, then once them the only people that don't go to the primary is the judges. So if you got 4 or 5 people judicial race, you're gonna have that in November. But if, like city council, mayoral races and that thing, like write-ins, whoever's running, pretty much, if you make it past that primary, once your name is on the ballot, you have done something. You are in the game. But this is the fourth quarter.
Yes.
It's 2 minutes remaining. The Browns would have been blown out by the way, but the 2-minute warning.
I mean, not when they played the Cowboys, but that's fine.
Oh, shit. Funny. But, but it's the fourth quarter, 2 minutes to go, ball's in your hand. You got to run with it. So, Alana, I want everybody come back here. I don't care what happens after November, because we need to talk more about reproductive justice, because, we are in that particular circle. And what do you think about, before we go, what do you think about the orange one right now?
My God.
Yes! That's what she's going to save us right now.
The opinion that I'm comfortable sharing on a public platform is that as a member of the 92%, I knew better. We all knew better, and folks chose not to do better. And here we are. I cannot wait wait until, what is that, 2028?
Yeah. I can't wait till next year for midterms to get rid of some of these people that support him.
Baby, it is like I just time limits for everybody, overhaul everybody. Like these people are ridiculous. I think on a federal level and a state level, the selfishness of white supremacy is showing up in some very, very clear ways. But the thing that I love about it is that, like, people who voted for him are seeing the impacts of it as well.
Right.
And so it's like, it is a very unfortunate process for those of us who voted differently.
Right.
But for those who voted for them that are seeing the impacts of their vote, it is a beautiful thing to watch them learn.
You mean the FAFO moment?
Oh, yeah, no, all of that. Yeah, all that.
Y'all deserve all of this smoke.
Yeah.
Welcome to our world. Sit right there.
Yeah. And like, as an organizer, I want everybody to have food. I want everybody to have health care. I want everybody to be safe. I want everybody to have housing. But if you are actively taking steps to deny those things to other people, when those things are denied to you, I will not weep. I will not work extra on your behalf. I am going to let you and the resources that you try to leave us with sort that out for yourself.
Right, exactly. So you didn't. So I take it you didn't cry when Charlie Kirk got shot.
I did not.
I know you. I know you. You ain't do no dance neither. Oh no. Well, if you did, then I ain't holding it against you. I see you. I understand your action in real life, in real time. Then I appreciate you. You know.
I appreciate you too.
No problem. So the thing about it is that, you know, one more time, your website and the Google number.
Yes, Google Voice number 216-505-9881. My website is Belle with an E at the end. BelleForward9.com. And you can find me on all social platforms at Belle for Ward 9. Yeah.
That's what's up. So, Black Fist up to everybody that's been here. And Miss Lexes, you got anything to say before I get out of I'm going to do my final 2-minute spiel?
Yes, it's been a wonderful, wonderful show. Please vote for Miss Belle.
Thank you.
Right,
And our previous guest, Mr. Pittman, if you think he's fit to be the mayor of Cleveland. And Larry, how you gonna get us on out of here?
Well, I got a problem. Very serious problem. See, about years ago, particularly last year, I said, don't vote for this person. And the reason I'm going to say it right now is because of the simple fact of the matter is elections do have consequences. We are living in the FAFO consequence right here. I voted for the black woman. I should have followed suit. Some of you didn't want to participate at all, and but you want to complain. No, shut up. The man is not only with the government shutdown, Trump said it himself. And God, I'm going to wash my mouth out with some type of alcohol when I get home by saying his last name. He said that if the government is shut down, it's the president's fault. Guess who's the president now? This not only happened in his first term with the government shutdown, but it's happening now and it's still continuing. And now families have to suffer as much as we want to hold out because the Democrats can end it by going the Republicans' way. No, they can't, because you can't. The thing about it is like you can't feed into greed. Trump is a greedy person. And the thing about it is, when you're greedy, nothing satisfies a greedy person, period. No compromise satisfies a greedy person. No kowtowing satisfies to a greedy person. None of that satisfies to a greedy person. And now you're going to have children and families starving around Thanksgiving when you're supposed to give thanks because of this greedy person. I'm bleeping myself out for real. Like I said, because I have company. Because if nobody was in here, if we didn't have candidates in here, I would have been off already. T-Rex knows it.
You can cuss in front of me.
I'm like, the thing about it is, okay, greedy ass person. You can't satisfy a greedy ass person. When they want more, they want more. I'm gonna say this, pardon my French, y'all. This asshole, while the country is starving, cut down the east wing of the White House and is building a freaking ballroom made of gold. He donated $40 billion to Argentina because they kissed his behind so much. But I guess he's going to escape there after he bankrupts this country. Trump ran this thing, is running this thing, this country, like his businesses, and 7 times he has bankrupted his businesses. You didn't think he was going to bankrupt the United States of America of morals when y'all put him back in there? Listen, I understand that white supremacy, racism, and sexism is real. We didn't want to have a half Asian, half black woman in office. I wanted her because I already knew that she was going to at least not screw it up. He had them before. The pandemic was his fault. The impeachments were his fault. And by the way, just because the man got impeached 2 times, that doesn't mean he starts his term all over again. There's a constitutional law that says that Trump cannot be president in 2028. And those of you who believe that, especially, I'm not talking to the white folks right now. I'm not talking to y'all. Because I know some of y'all, I hope y'all have leprosy in some way, shape, or form. But the thing about it is that I'm talking to the brothers that voted for him. We gonna get the stimulus checks. How's that Joe's check working out for you? Did you get it yet? No, you didn't. The reason why we got stimulus checks is because everybody had to stay in the house because everybody was sick. The owner of the station got the coronavirus and almost was not here. Shout out to DJ Johnny O. My cousin, Terrence Patterson Brown, died in 2020 because of the coronavirus. And the thing about it is, I will always call Trump a murderer, a murderous bastard, because he indirectly killed my cousin. His youngest son, Chase, should have celebrated with his father as far as being in high school right about now. Don't tell me about what good he's done, because he's done nothing. The only good that he's done for is himself. And anybody that supports him is a diseased pig. I'm gone. We got a scary moment. Forget Halloween, but I'm going to play one of the scariest songs that ever been made. So we're going to end this show with one of my favorite artists and one of the most scariest songs, because we are in a thriller. Michael Jackson Thriller. If nobody treasures that they love you today, I do. Shout out to Mr. Pittman. Shout out to Alana Belle, Ricky Pittman, his wife. Shout out to Alana Belle. Everybody, Godspeed on everybody who's running, whether it be in this race or other races. I will have on November 3rd, 3 to 5, I will have a last chance candidate for whoever comes up here between 3 to 5 o'clock. And I moved it early to make sure that you have a chance to talk about your last chance, wherever you're running for, in the city of Cleveland or beyond. You have one last chance to state your case to the voters that are undecided.
Monday at 3?
Monday at 3. We starting on time, period. Because I'm leaving at 5. Because I got to probably work somebody poll Tuesday. So.
And listen, if you want to work mine,
I got your number, Alana. I got like 4 people hitting me up. Could you work mine? Like, I'm thinking.
We got 9 poll locations. Hey, speaking of paying, if y'all got $9 to put towards this campaign,
Notice how she leaning that in there.
You know, I like a smooth transition, but in all seriousness, if you have capacity to donate, we need people at this point. A lot of the folks who are volunteering and are really engaged, especially in local politics, everybody's being spread thin. Folks are bouncing around in different campaigns, so we are starting to rely on paid folks to do some of these final canvases, to do some of these final shifts at the polls. So we are raising money so we can pay folks to do some of these shifts. If you can volunteer, hallelujah, we would love that. We would love for you to show up for that. But if you cannot show up in person and you want to support the campaign, donating is one of the best ways to do that.
All right, so let's get out of here. We got some stuff to do, and I gotta go home. Shout out to the Cleveland Cavaliers for winning last night against Detroit. Michael Jackson Thriller. If nobody chose anything to love you today, I do. Enjoy a safe, happy Halloween. Please be careful and be safe. Peace, love, and hair grease. We out. Sorry about that. I had to let it out. She said it. You said, you go ahead, cuz. They still right there. I had to let that out. My back feel better. You love me. A freaking ballroom?
We do recording music. We got shows on Monday to Thursday. Political shows, hip hop shows, music shows, RV show. On Monday we got an RV. Then you can go around the country and come back and talk about what you did. We got a Destiny show. Another political show. Hey, what you got going on? What? You see the link to YouTube?
Yeah, I think you got. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Your phone is ringing all day. This shit ain't cool. I'm going to put it on.